to talk about. It's easy to call somebody up on the phone and say, I got cancer.
Yeah.
or I think I might.
But you're right. I mean, I don't know if you felt this when you got sober. I didn't have any of this stuff when I got sober. 7 years ago, there's no like Google or like Facebook.
No, there was, but we were drinking.
I was a little busy.
Yeah, you were loaded. There was
no,
seven. I hate that.
Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was no like, please help me, you guys save me.
I mean, part of it is self-fulfilling because you've been doing so much work and getting sober and then being involved in the recovery community.
Yeah.
But certainly, you know, there has been more exposure to the issues of substance abuse and alcoholism, and I think that's for the better. You know, it still carries a huge stigma with it. I think that a lot of people still, you know, think it's a moral failure if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, or that they should just be able to fix this on their own. A lot of people don't realize that it's a complicated issue for a lot of people, and there's a multitude of levels of addiction. And then there's also complications with other mental health issues like depression, anxiety. And also just quitting on your own can be dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, people that just stop drinking, that have been drinking, can have seizures. People that are taking, tranquilizers like Valium or Xanax or other benzodiazepines can have seizures if they come off too quickly. So, you know, if you're out there and you're thinking about just stopping some of this stuff, it's most important that you see a doctor before you stop.
I love that you said something about the fact that, you know, the stigma of this. You know, I'm in the public eye. I talk about my recovery. I talk about my ups and downs. And like I'm one of those people that did not, by the grace of God, get arrested. Right. But a gazillion people have that I know for, you know, using and whatnot. I was talking to my property manager, and I just got a new place, and he was like, I really want to meet you again. I want to see you again. So I went over and I met him again, and he's like, I really like you, but I just want to make sure, can you guarantee me you're not crazy? And I was like, oh my God, there's a stigma on my alcoholism.
Well, you know what's so funny that you're talking about that is Wes Bentley, who's an amazing actor who's sober now, who is the kid from American Beauty. And and I always get those two confused, who's sober, and he wasn't allowed into Canada last week because of his past drug offense.
So he had a prior arrest.
Yeah, prior arrest. And it's...
Well, that's one of the things that people don't realize, the consequences of drug use. I mean, it's still illegal behavior. Right. And, you know, so many people, you know, they say, how many times do you have to drive? It's like something like 2,400 times you drive drunk before you get pulled over on average. Yeah. I mean, it's some incredible stat. Yeah. You know, drug use prior to getting arrested is probably even higher. But when it happens, it has serious consequences, and sometimes permanent, lasting consequences, especially if you get a felony conviction.
Yeah. It's
not to mention the cost, and then it ruins the rest of your life. I mean, it really makes things very, very difficult.
It's extremely true. I was talking.
It's very hard to get a job.
Let me give out the number quickly. It's 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. You're listening to KLEAN Radio. It's important to talk about because people think I use ecstasy once or twice or 8 times. They don't think it's going to have any lasting effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, everything you do affects your brain one way or the other, and sometimes dramatically, sometimes not so much. And, you know, it's like professional football is big in the news right now, and that they're finding out that, you know, in the immediate short run, some of these, you know, head injuries and stuff aren't a big deal, but then they hit 40, 45, and all of a sudden they have dementia. So it's the same thing with drugs. I mean, if you're taking these things and you're creating little blowouts of vessels and capillaries in your brain, eventually they can lead to longer term problems. And you know, it's like smoking. Even, you know, I know a couple people here that are struggling.
Not me.
Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier. Is that I said to Judah, we said publicly that we're going to stop smoking, and I've stopped.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Wait,
I'll tell you what.
Stop
No,
it.
no.
You do it every single time. Every time I'm
1st.
talking, you cut me off.
God, you guys are like, are you guys like husband and wife, or
yes,
or brother and sister?
You did it earlier too.
I'm sorry, Jen.
I was telling my story about stigma and like this funny story, but I still get it, and it got cut off.
Let's stay on topic. So
let's
we bring up stopping smoking, and all the defenses come out.
Yes, let's talk about stigmas, and Jen's going to give me a stigma, but I will make you a deal. October 1st, we both try to quit.
Why wait?
Why wait? Because
I can do it now.
You could do it now.
If we get hypnotized, not alone.
Yeah.
We have a hypnotherapist.
We do have a hypnotherapist that was willing to do it.
Go in tomorrow.
That was willing to do it.
I go to work tomorrow there.
That was doing it.
I can do it.
I'm not in tomorrow yet, but you're all listening to KLEAN. The number here is 539-29. You're interrupting me.
How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great.
Oh,
I like to
boy.
be interrupted.
Nothing like professionals.
I know.
I work with such professional people.
And it's 888-539-2980. Give us a call. We are running out of time, but Jen's new show came out tonight. It's an awesome show, Rehab. Tell us, was it hard to film?
It was crazy this season. It was intense. I know that you guys know this, and a lot happens as the weeks the episodes unwind. My life was put out on the line at one point. It was extremely dangerous, and it wasn't. It just, you think, oh, I've gone through it all. This season, I've gone through it all, and I'm really honestly glad. Like with the patients, I learned so much from the being with you guys, and through the experiences in the seasons before this one. But really, from the training that I've gotten at KLEAN, I've learned so much more, and I was able to handle them more. Right. It was the things that happen. You'll see. You'll just watch and see. Please watch on VH1 at 8 o'clock on Sunday nights. I think on the West Coast, some cable companies get them at 5 in the afternoon. They repeat all week long. So please watch. Stay tuned. It's pretty crazy.
And how did these people how did they find out about Rehab? Was it like...
They sent in a video. I was tweeting about it, and the casting directors, and I think Drew did it once, but I tweeted. I got a couple people from the show on there, people I'd never known, but they came through my, the tweets and Facebooks.
Do you feel a different fulfillment from Celebrity Rehab to this?
I'm not going to lie, this one by far. Like these people, like the treatment afterwards, are still doing treatment at 6 months later. They're in treatment with... by the doctors and the team for another few more months. Like they have long-term treatment. And these people, working with them was so much more gratifying.
That's awesome.
Because it was real, it was raw, and it was truth.
And so let me ask you a question. So are they, I know you can't break this to us now. Did they go to a different rehab afterwards, or is there some...
No, they didn't go to a different rehab. They went to sober livings, and I'll be able to release more of that information afterwards.
After the show airs.
Yeah.
You can't spoil
Yeah,
it.
you don't want to ruin everything.
Yeah.
But
there is not a sober house
Judah,
afterwards.
You don't want to ruin most things.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. By the way, if you just tune in,
He's just going to keep one thing he's not going to ruin.
We actually really do like each other. The number here is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. You're listening to KLEAN Radio. I think we've had, from all the callers tonight that we've spoken to, I think one of the biggest things is that they're all going through is they're having a hard time. They're in that place where they're not willing to...
It's a point of contemplation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Limbo.
Yeah.
And they can't...
Contemplation.
Yeah.
They're thinking about constantly what to do. Is it better to take a drink, or is it better to start trying to get help? It's like starting exercising again, You know it's the right thing to do. You want to do it, but actually doing it, you're going to feel better after you do it. But actually starting it, that first 10, 15 minutes, it's the worst thing on earth until you get into it for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden you look forward to it. Same sort of thing with this, where if you've started drinking again, it's hard to get off back on track again, because you've sort of made it easier to drink again. You've made it easier just to continue that path, and actually have to go through that process of, starting over and admitting all that and dealing with it. It can be very challenging and difficult. But the rewards are there, So.
Will you take care of Judah and I? We should film Judah and I quitting smoking for the first 72 hours.
I don't want to break that many cameras.
I know.
That would actually be really funny if we did that in a house.
Actually, there's the big movement right now in treatment centers is to make them smoke-free environments.
Yes, those are going to be some empty treatment centers.
No, that's going to work out well.
I don't think it's such a bad idea. The hospitals are all doing it. They ask you to smoke, and if you smoke, they stick a nicotine patch on your arm.
I was actually in a rehab that didn't allow coffee.
Oh.
Wow, that's harsh.
But they allowed cigarettes.
What about sugar?
No, I think they allowed sugar. We had sugar cereals for breakfast, but we were allowed to smoke.
You had to put this in your coffee?
But no, but no coffee. And but Jen, so all of the people out there that are listening, Patrick, and all the people, what do you tell them? I mean, obviously you went through this yourself, where you were too at that point where, well, now you're sober, but you couldn't. What did you do? And Patrick was asking that. Tell him what you did.
There's a lot of things I did. There is a lot of things. I mean, I think that I went to the rooms. I mean, yeah, I did treatment. I did all that stuff, but I have till this day the gift of desperation. Like, they told me, you know, I was like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And I wanted to prove everyone wrong. Like, you told me to do something and to quit smoke, like, you know, and I'd be like, sure, whatever. I'm just going to show you it doesn't work for me. Like, even though I had a chip on my shoulder, I still did it. And things just started lifting and changing. And, you know, whether it be the meetings or whether it be, you know, the therapy, whether it be taking that exercise and trying to walk around the block, you know, for 20 minutes. And that was hard for me because I was heavy, you know, and my body hurt, and there was a lot of stuff that was happening, you know, and I just did whatever anyone told me to do. And I still do. I mean, I do it with you. You know, you tell me to, don't worry, this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you how uncomfortable I am. And, you know, I sometimes ask you to tell me I'm going to be okay.
And I lie.
And he said, yes, you will. Just trust me. And then he's like, all right, I got to go.
Well,
you know?
I think this is what Andrew, and to get back to the beginning of the show, what we were talking about is, we can't, you can't, what is happiness, right? What are all these things? What is you know, and the best definition of happiness I heard somebody say is wanting what you have.
You know, I also think people put too high expectation on happiness.
Right.
I mean, you know, they say, you know, everybody has, you have a right to pursue happiness in America. You don't have the right to be happy. And that's, you know, sort of a different thing. And life isn't always about happy. I think that,
Very true.
Our generation or our time right now has been described as the narcissistic period where everybody believes that they should be very self-important and that they should be happy. And, you know, that takes work. It's not just a God-given right to be happy. It takes hard work. It takes effort. It takes diligence. It takes commitment to a set of beliefs and ethics and morals and values. And you can't just expect to have everything come to you. It's something that you have to choose and work on constantly.
And also, it's like where Patrick is right now in the limbo or in the contemplation.
Well, also, you know, it's that he's, you know, he's stopped. You know, it's like it was working. The whole thing was working for him. And then for whatever reason, he decided to not have it work.
Right.
And, you know, that's very unfortunate.
And I think anything is better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jen, where do people watch Addicted? I mean, sorry. I'm sorry. Rehab?
Wow.
Sorry.
People can watch Rehab on VH1 Sundays.
It's another show, by the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
I don't know.
We're just ruining our whole time.
You guys,
Just
seriously,
talking over.
I'm going to flick my phone. And
I'm
it's gonna hit
sorry.
your
I'm
forehead
sorry
and then
about
yours.
that. Jen,
If you
you
stop
are on so
smoking-
many shows. The
if
fact
you
that
stop smoking, I'll let you speak for 10
and Jen,
minutes
you are on
straight.
so many shows. The fact
10
that I
minutes
can
straight?
remember two of them. You were
Oh,
on
look at
Jane
this.
Velez last
We're
week.
going out.
Was awesome.
And Dr. Drew
And
show.
Dr. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, how am I?
And Healthline, 3
It's
shows
a good thing I didn't
shot.
call her Dr. Velez. Anyways, you are listening to KLEAN Radio. We all really love each other. We love all our fans out there.
Yeah, thanks for all the calls
Thank
tonight.
you.
It was
We'll
really
see you
good.
next
guys.
week. The discussion continues at KLEANRadio.com. Sorry to the calls that are coming in that we did not take. We'll talk to you later.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.